Allama Ahmad Shafi, a firebrand Islamist of Bangladesh, passed away in September last. He was the Amir of Hifazat-e-Islam, an umbrella organization sort of thing of all the Islamic forces in Bangladesh. There is of course a Jamaat also, but the Jamaat is not that active nowadays. After the passing away of Shafi, Junaid Babu Nagori, a radical Islamist, has taken over. Now that the mantle has passed from Shafi to Junaid, India is a bit concerned. Because Junaid not only is now the Amir of Hifazat, but also is the head of Hatazari Madrasa, one of the biggest madrasas of Bangladesh. There are a handful of issues that have complicated the secularistic goals and principles of Bangladesh in the recent times, particularly in the past 1 decade or so. Now India is worried about the same. Among the three, at least 2 of them have got to do with the constitution and the laws of Bangladesh. Bangladesh began as a secular democratic country. Islam was a religion, that's all, but not a state religion till it was declared so in 1988. In the 70s, the Bangladeshi government removed secularism and related articles from the constitution and replaced that with faith and belief in Almighty the Allah, absolute faith in Allah. By removing secularism, it has replaced that with this faith in Allah. Now, Islam was made a state religion in 1988, but in 2010, the Supreme Court of Bangladesh ruled against that removal of secularism and its related articles and said those should be restored. The Sheikh Hasina government agreed and restored secularism as one of the principles of constitution. Second issue that dominated the events in Bangladesh over a period is the constitution of war tribunal. Bangladesh government constituted a war tribunal seeking to prosecute those persons or people who harassed or tortured Bangladeshis and worked against the interest of Bangladeshi nationals during the freedom struggle. The war tribunal went ahead and sentenced one Jamaat official, a top Jamaat official rather, to life imprisonment. But several secular and democratic forces and liberals were unhappy with it. They said he should have been sent to gallows, that is, death sentence should have been given to him and not a life imprisonment, and they started protesting. After watching this protest, Hifazat came out onto the streets in full force. It displayed its street power in no uncertain terms by bringing about at least 5 lakh students onto the streets. These demonstrations went ahead for a few days, and as they were going on, Bangladeshi government had to use a lot of force to disperse them and restore order, and in the process about 45 students or so got killed. Hifazat then declared that it would not keep quiet till the perpetrators of violence against these counter demonstrators were brought to justice. Government had a long negotiation with Shafi, who was the head of the Hifazat then, and Shafi finally settled down for a compromise formula. He, along with other Islamic groups, presented a charter of 13 demands to the government. Almost all the demands were seeking a restoration of Islamic principles in one way or the other. They tried to push secularism to the fringes. And one of the prominent demands was arresting bloggers for blasphemy, for writing against Islam or Islamic beliefs and against the ulemas. It also included a clause that anyone writing against the Saudi government also should be booked under blasphemy laws. Bangladesh government agreed for this tightening of the laws and started arresting people. So far around 1500 or so of these bloggers and writers are in jails now. The second of the demand was removal of un-Islamic or non-Islamic names, or removal of Hindu and Christian names given to prominent places and streets in Bangladesh. Government agreed and did so. Then they said the statue of goddess Themis, a Greek goddess, placed in the Supreme Court premises must be removed. The government considered the demand. Then they said certain portions must be removed from the textbooks of the students of madrasas. Government agreed because they were un-Islamic, so they were also removed. As one after another these demands started being considered, the Islamic groups also demanded recognition of one of the degrees given by Qaumi as a degree proper by the Bangladeshi government. That is Dawra-e-Hadith, a degree conferred by the Qaumi madrasas. Government agreed and said this was a postgraduate degree now onwards, equivalent to Arabic and Islamic studies. Now we should understand that Hifazat itself was formed as a reaction to the government move to make amendments to the laws giving equal rights in property to the women of Bangladesh. These people, Islamic forces and other groups, they said it is un-Islamic, hence government should not do so, but the government went ahead and passed the act. It became an act after the bill was passed in the parliament. But as these people protested, government again buckled and brought the same law under the provisions of Sharia. It said subject to Sharia, these shall be imposed. So whatever benefits that the amendment to the property laws were made in Bangladesh was negated finally. Third issue that was dominant throughout and is still quite dominant and which is being much discussed in Bangladesh is the fate of the madrasas. There are two types of madrasas in Bangladesh. One is a Qaumi madrasa. The second one is an Aliyah madrasa. The second one is run by the government. The number of these madrasas or these schools do not cross 5,000 at the most. And the Qaumi madrasas number more than 65,000 by one estimate. Perhaps they are at least 1 lakh now. These Qaumi madrasas, they do not follow the government syllabus. Whatever government prescribes as syllabus is confined to the Aliyah schools. These Qaumi madrasas do not have English or mathematics or any of the so-called modern subjects as part of their educational system. They follow Islamic jurisprudence. Now government wanted to bring in changes to the madrasa system. It wanted all madrasa schools and all madrasa students to follow modern co-subjects like English and mathematics too, along with sciences in these madrasas. These people protested and prevented the government from doing so. So it is now Islamic jurisprudence that is being taught in all the madrasas of Bangladesh, particularly Qaumi madrasas. These demands of the Islamists and the pressures that the government faces from them from period to period, which makes it concede the demands of the Islamists, is what makes our government worried, that is Indian government worried about it. They want it to climb the Islamic highway. Bangladesh itself was born as a secular democratic country and not as an Islamic country, as Pakistan is. But over a period, the ulemas and other groups have restored Islam as a primary issue there.